Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to this special episode of Magnificent Mondays, an extra episode, not a special one, an extra one. Whereas last time we did Cocoon, this time I'm doing Cocoon the Return. We're having a look at that. If I look a bit puffy-eyed, because I've been sobbing, been crying my eyes out at this film, more than I did at the original, which got me, but anyway. What are these films like anyway? But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Also explore the description for various links for stuff like merch and my Patreon and stuff like that. My books, there's one of them. There we go. Mercury Rapids, Lightheart, Sci-fi Action Adventure, blah 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 blah. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. There's links in the description. Also links for my Facebook, X and Instagram. And all that palaver. Right, so Cocoon the Return. The sequel to Cocoon, obviously. Ron Howard didn't come back to direct it. This time we got Daniel Petrie, who's directing. Really good job. I really like this film. I think it's on a par with the original. Although it wasn't, only had a fraction of the success. The original, the first one, double Oscar winner. This one didn't even get nominated. But anyway, got all the original cast from the first film come back, and then we're also with a couple of new added characters. So we've got Don Amici, Wilfred Brimley, Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox is one of the new ones. Hume Cronin, Jack Gilford, Steve Guttenberg. Maureen Stapleton, Jessica Tandy, Gwen Verdon and Tanny Welch all return, as does Brian Dennehy, but only at the very end. As I said, Courtney Cox is one of the new characters, and Elaine Stritch is also a new character, playing Ruby. She's going to be Bernie's what am I like with names? Bernie's new love interest. She's most famous in the UK. I know she's a super famous actress, but she's most famous in the UK for the sitcom Two's Company in the 70s, where she played like a rich American woman, and Donald Sinden, who's this very British actor who talks like that. He plays a butler, and that was a kind of a heartwarming series where she's his employer, but also become friends and stuff like that. But that was from her youth. But in this, she plays Ruby. Had the same budget as the previous film, $17.5 million, but it only made $25 million at the box office. So that's probably why we haven't had a Cocoon 3. But anywho, despite that, I think it's really, really good. I think it is, on a par with the first one. So we'll get on with it, shall we? As usual, not just be watching the film because YouTube are mental. It always does. YouTube is a nightmare for doing stuff like this. It is with its copyright, with its automated copyright stuff. It is a bloody nightmare, and also the ad what they call it, ad sustainability, whatever the hell they call it. It's a nightmare. But anyway, we'll get on with it. Watching it in a series of stills. Where's the other cat go? Oh, it's over there. It may. Sorry, we've got two cats now. I've got my normal cat, my original cat, the OC princess who's over there, and we kind of gained another one. I think he was a stray. I'm going to take him to the vets and stuff. We call him Tabby. We're going to take him to the vets, see if he's chipped and stuff like that. He's really good-natured, but he's having a nosy about at the minute. He's over there. But it's a big tabby cat, miles bigger than Princess. And they kind of get on, but she doesn't really want him to get close. Anyway, that's by the by. Right, where were we? Yes, we'll get on with the film. So I'll make myself titchy tiny, and off we jolly well go. We'll get rid of that. Have I done it? Yes, there we go. And I'll put myself down here, and I shall start the film. I've got to full screen the bugger first. There we go. And off we go. I might start crying again. I might. There's a good chance. So there may be, because this is not a live show, there will be edits. So there may be a cut. I'll let you know. I'll say in it. I'm going to have a little break because these films get to me more than I really knew. But thinking about the film is setting me off now. Anyway, right, we're off. 20th Century Fox. The good old 20th Century Fox logo. Now we begin. Hang on. Just a minute. All right, we're fading on the Sunny Grove Rest Home in St. Petersburg. I think it's a different place to where they were in the original. If you didn't see the first video, Cocoon is about a group of elderly people in a retirement community who go away with aliens at the end. And now it's 5 years later, so it's kind of set in the future of this film, because this film only made 3 years after the original. It's 5 years later, and they're going to come back. But they left people behind, or they left somebody behind. A man called Bernie, who's a bit of a miserable old curmudgeon. And he's kind of the star of this film is Jack Gilford as Bernie. Bernie Lefkovich, or whatever the hell his name is. But he's kind of the main character, and he has a nice story arc in this. But I think he's moved to another rest home because he lost his wife in the first film, Rose. She passed away, and that's what set me off in the other video. I may go again. In this one. So I think they've moved him to another place. So here we go. So we're seeing he's making a rug. There we go. Stitching a rug, or whatever the hell the bloody call Lefkovich. There we go. And then he's gone to visit his wife Rose. You can see they've got a double headstone. So that's where his name will go at some point. By the way, Jack Gilford, this was his last film. He passed away 2 years after this film came out. So this was his last film. So rest in peace, Jack. I think they've all passed away now because they were all getting on in years. Apart from Wilford Brimley, who were only 53 when this film came out. But anyway. So there you go, 1985. So it was set in very contemporary times with the original. It came out in 1985, and they've said there she died in 1985. So this film is set in 1990. In the future of them. Anyway, so there he is. There you go. Visiting his wife. There we go. So he's looking. He's been a bit sad and all that. He misses his wife, and he doesn't know what to do with himself without her. I'm going already. Right, then we cut to Jack Bonner's, Steve Guttenberg's glass-bottom boat called the Infante. He's got two boats now. He's got the Manta 4. I think his boat in the first one was the Manta 3, I think. But the aliens took that. Luckily, they don't take his boat in this one. He's got the Manta 4, and he's got this one, the Infante. His glass-bottom boat where he's taking people out to see treasure off the Florida coast. It's obviously a big scam, he's put it there, to show them. And he's playing like bad music on his little organ there. So they're all saying, what a scam this is, it's rubbish. But, there he is. He's a capitalist, bless him. Right, so where are we now? We're at the home of Wilford Brimley's, Ben's grandson, David, and his mother, Linda Harrison. She's called Susie, but I'll just call her Linda Harrison because she's Nova from the Planet of the Apes films, the original ones. There he is, obviously 5 years older, although he's just 3 years older in real time because he's the same actor. So he's shot up, hasn't he, in 3 years. But anyway, there he's watching TV. There was his mum's. She's a handsome woman, isn't she, Linda? I must admit, she's a bit of a I won't say MILF, a bit of a cougar. But anyway, he gets a message. There we go. His telly. He can't turn his telly off. It keeps turning back on again. And then suddenly, there we go. His granddad appears on TV, and we find out that they can affect electronic stuff. The aliens. In this, I don't think they did it in the first one, did they? But they do in this one. I'm just making sure I hit record then. I got it in my head that I hadn't hit record, but I have. That was nearly a panic stations. Right, anyway, so he tells him he's in front of this terrible backdrop that looks like it's from, I don't know, the Star Wars Holiday Special or something. It looks awful, doesn't it? It's supposed to be in this alien place, with super technology and just buttons behind him. They got it from, electronic backgrounds are us. Anyway, so they're coming back. They're coming for a visit. So he says, "Tell your mother. Tell her the truth." And obviously, they think they're all dead. By the way, they thought they were lost at sea. All these people, these old people that went with them at the end. There were like 30 odd of them. Ended up going to Antaria. Right. So there we go. Cocoon, the return. Dun. Right. So we begin. We're in space again, and I thought they'd just reuse the shots from the original film, and a couple of them they do, but these effect shots they don't. So there we go. So I suppose that justifies why it had the same budget. But anyway, we're headed down, and then we see the ship. Oh, I forgot to mute it, didn't I? We see the ship move through the clouds, and this is straight. This is from the first one with the dolphins in the sea. They just reuse that footage. And this is as well, but I think they've added a few dolphins at the bottom. There weren't that as many as that in the first one, but it's essentially the same. There we go, the same shot from the first. There's the dolphins swimming about. Right, so he's trying to tell his mother that his grandparents, her parents, are not dead, and she's saying they were lost at sea, and they've been dead for 5 years. And there's a knock at the door. She goes to the door. There we go, and there they are. Hello, darling. And there's Tanny Welsh. And Tyrone Power Jr., who gets a line in this film, and the other fella, I don't know his name, but he gets a line as well. There they are. And she faints. Hang on. Hello, darling. And there we go, she faints. Badly. She even looks down. Bless her. Then we cut to Bernie in the old people's home, and is trying to Minecraft himself. So this is a bit grim. Really, took a dark turn. I was like, blimey. And it goes on for a bit as well, look. But then somebody knocks on his door, and it all goes wrong, and he fails, thankfully. Proper dark turn, that. I will definitely get an ad suitability thing for this on YouTube. I wonder what I got one for the first one. When you get an ad suitability, like, message or warning or whatever, it's I don't know if they don't show ads or if they just, I don't know what happens, to be honest. Or they don't just pay you for the ads. YouTube's always trying to find ways to not pay you. But, and I think maybe because we saw Tanny Welsh's bottom in the first one, I'm thinking, is it that? I don't know. So that one will definitely probably flag up a warning. Anyway, he goes to the door, and he's there. He sees it's Joe and Art and Alma and Bess. I can never remember the names. Donna Michi, Hugh Cronin, Jessica Tandy, and Gwen Verdon. There they are. So they're all happy and stuff. Yay! And we learn that he kept all their stuff. But he says he's fine and all that, even though he's just trying to Minecraft himself. That's what I'm going to say now, by the way. But anyway, then they're leaving. They're saying that they said we kind of made out that. There we go. Let him think we were staying here for good. But they're not. They've got to go back in, I don't know, 3 days or something like that. They're going to be picked up. Right, fried bacon. Looks a bit greasy, doesn't it? But it's streaky bacon, so what do you expect? Grill it, woman, grill it. Think of your health. They don't need to think of the health, though, do they? Because on Antaria, you live forever, you never get ill, so I suppose you can eat as much bacon as you want. But they don't. I don't know what they do. It never tells us what they actually do on this alien planet. But they don't have bacon, they don't have hot dogs. They don't have milkshakes, and they go on about all this stuff that they don't have, and that they miss them. But they've obviously got other stuff that replace it. But what do they eat? I have no idea. Pills, probably. Anyway, there he goes having that, and he sees his car in the back garden. There we go. Still with the what they call it, parachute over it. So he gets that out. So he's gonna, and apparently it still works. He's been there for 5 years, and obviously it starts up because we see him driving about in it. Then we see Jack at his gift shop. So he's doing quite well now. Remember, he was struggling in the first film, wasn't he, for money? But he's obviously he's cornered a market. He's got a gift shop. He's got 2 boats. He's doing quite well for himself. Sells this fella a Davy. And it's a Davy Crockett, a Davy Jones locker. There we go, covered in shells. Things that you see at the seaside. Sells him that for $20 and throws in the salt and pepper shakers for free. He's a hustler, but then he sees Kitty's back, the lovely Tanny Welsh, obviously Raquel Welch's daughter. She's got her eyes, got amazing eyes. There we go, look at those eyes. Got her mother's eyes. Anyway, so there you go. We learn that they've come back because the cocoons that they put back at the bottom of the sea at the end of the first film. Remember, they had cocoons in a pool. They'd been in the sea for 10,000 years, and they'd come for them, and they were keeping them in a pool until the ship came back for them. And then these old people found this pool, and they found it rejuvenated them because of the life energies given off by these aliens. But then all the other old people found out about it, and they all piled into the pool and drained it of its life force. And 2 of the aliens died, so it did get a bit dark then. So they'll put them back in the sea, and the sea will rejuvenate the life force and all that. So anyway, so it's 5 years later, and they've got to come back because there's been seismic. They left sensors on the seabed, and they found there's been seismic disturbances, so they've got to get them. So that's what they're doing. There we go. The cocoons are in danger, Jack. So they're going to help them. Right. There's Art. Oh, Art's getting a rose. Remember, Art married Bess at the end of the first film. So he's always serenading her because he's very romantic. They have a very nice romantic relationship, and they love each other very much, which is very nice. But anyway, so he's going. Anyway, she's going to go off with Alma and Mary for her day, and Art and Art and Joe and Ben, they're going to go off to the beach with Bernie. So they've arrived at Bernie's where he lives. No, is he? No, he don't live. This is like a motel, isn't it? I think they're staying at the motel, aren't they? That's what it is. And Bernie's going to meet him there. I think. That's where we meet Ruby. She's, I presume, the owner of the motel. She's doing some exercise. This is Elaine Stritch. See that she's a bit of a character, but anyway. So this is where we meet her. And anyway, so they're going to go off with Bernie and Ben. There we go. Off they go. They're going to head to the beach. They're heading for Bernie first. And they're taking him away from this place. But it's not a nice place to live in. And this orderly nurse, whatever you want to call him, says, where you going, you old coot? They're not nice to him. So Art deals with him and knocks him to the floor. Hang on, where are we? There we go. Takes him out. They all applaud him. So they're off to the beach. They're obviously, having fun. Bernie's sitting on the sand. Going to sit on the sand doing bugger all. Bit like I'd be like that. Just lathering myself with suntan lotion. Anyway, so they're having fun. And remember Jack. I keep calling him Jack, not Jack. Jack's bloody Steve Guttenberg. Joe is into the ladies. Remember in the first film, he kind of... I don't know if I call it an affair, but he had a little fling with a waitress, didn't he? He's got an eye for the ladies, and they even mention it in this. So he sees these young ladies playing with a ball on the beach. So he says, we should go and give them some mature assistance and all that stuff. So off they go. They say, come on, Bernie. But he's not, he's sitting there. So they're having fun, playing ball with nubile young women. Anyway, Bernie keeps looking at his watch. There we go. And he goes to see Joe. He says, I've got an appointment. I've got to go. And he says, it's important. So Joe says, okay, I'll get the guys. So, that was a little heartwarming moment. Because at first he says, come on, we're in the game. He says, it's important. So it's all, it's for Bernie. So they've got to go. So, right. And we learn his appointment. He goes to see Rose every day. There we go. Right, so out in the Mantifor, we're not in the glass bottom boat this time. We're in the Mantifor, the diving down, um, and to see the cocoons and see what's going on with them. They're getting some of them out, obviously. Jack's just on his boat asleep, but then he sees there's another boat. In a minute, for Pete's sake. There we go. From the St. Petersburg Oceanographic Institute. I wonder if Bob Ballard's there. He were with one of them. I remember Bob Ballard. He used to be on Sequest DSV, didn't he? Discovered well, did he discover? I think he found the Titanic, didn't he? Bob Ballard. Or was he the first one to dive down to it? Whatever. Anyway, they found a cocoon. Look, one of them got dislodged, with the seismic activity. One of them got dislodged and just rolled away or whatever from the others, and they found it at the St. Petersburg Oceanographic Institute. So they're going to take that back. And there's going to be a rescue mission coming up. Meanwhile, David's struggling at baseball. He's rubbish. He can't hit the ball. So, anyway, what you up to? See, bloody Tabby's here again. What you up to? There's nothing in there for you. Go on, bugger off. Bugger off. Eh? I'm busy. I'm busy, you know. I am. What's he like? Where were we? We're here at the St. Petersburg Oceanographic Institute, which is, I'll tell you in a minute. Where have I seen it? I've seen it. It's the Miami's Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences Center, just outside Miami. 250 miles from St. Petersburg. That's what that is, apparently. Anyway, so they're going to go check it out. Here they are. They've arrived, and they're going to get under the fence. These are the aliens, by the way, with Jack helping them. Here they are. And Tyrone Power, Junior, plays Pillsbury. That's his name. He's going to turn himself into take off his rubber skin. Hang on, I'm going to show it in a minute. Here he comes. There we go. Because remember, they can float and they're glowy. That's what I look like in the sun. Apart from I'm not thin and I can't float. But when the sun reflects off my Yorkshire skin, it glows like that. Sorry, checking on the cat. Anyways, off he goes into the Bruce Willis style into the air vents. But there we go. There they go. They're doing a scan of the cocoon. They don't know it's a cocoon yet. I don't know if they know what it is, but obviously they're not very observant. They're not seeing what's that bright glow from the air vent, but they're not noticing that. But they see that there's something inside. Hang on, there we go. And say it's a life form. That's it. I'll be saying there's a person in it. I'll be saying there's a life form in there. There's somebody in this thing. Because it looks like a person, doesn't it? Not a life form. But anyway, whatever. So, well, no, they've got a short amount of time to save that little alien. They call Phil. That's what Courtney Cox. Oh, by the way, there she is. There's Courtney Cox. Back when she was naturally pretty. Anyway. Right. I was thinking, was this her first film? But I don't think it was it? She'd done Masters of the Universe before this, hadn't she? So maybe other things, I don't know. But it's early on in her career. Right, Ben's picking up David from school. This way, some other kids jeer him for being rubbish at baseball. So they're going to sort it out. There we go. Ben's going to teach him how to hit a ball. He says, the hardest thing to do is to hit a round ball with a round bat. So you've got to visualise hitting the ball, and it's easier said than done. But he gets the hang of it. He starts hitting the ball. But later on, when he's actually in the baseball game, obviously his nerves get the better of him. Anyway, so there we go. Right, so he's been baseballing with David, and now he's aching, and she's rubbing on some, whatever they call it, deep heat, whatever. Fiery Jack, rubbing some of that into his muscles. Because now they're back on Earth, they're starting to age again. They're starting to ache and all that stuff. But we learned that they do have abilities. They've learned abilities from the Antarians. So they can do things that other people can't do. But we'll learn that in a bit. Right. So there's Jack and Kitty having a talk, and she's worrying, obviously, about what's going on. Oh, there you go. He's talking about how he got into a lot of trouble last time because he lost his boat. His boat was lost at sea. You'd think he'd be in prison, wouldn't you? He took a boat out with 30 odd people from an old people's home, and they all apparently drowned, and his boat was lost. He survived with a pocket full of money, but apparently he got off scot free. But they were say you cannot steal any more old people. I wonder what all the others are doing. The other 30 odd people. They must be fine. Anyway, right. So, anyway, they're dancing now. They're having a good time. Our main characters, but Bernie's sitting by himself, obviously. They say, can't we do anything for him? But there we see Ruby's there at the bar. So they're going to introduce Bernie to Ruby. They're trying to set him up. But this is where we learn Bernie's quite funny. He tells jokes and stuff. Oh, actually saying, most people our age are boring old farts. And Bernie says, most people our age are dead. So I said, didn't know you were funny, Bernie. I said, yes, I'm funny. And he starts doing impressions. He does Stan Laurel and stuff like that. And do you know what it reminds me of? Probably, I don't know if it'll mean anything to anybody that's watching this. Bernie reminds me of Paul Chatto. Was it Chato? Whatever. The YouTuber and former part of a Canadian comedy troupe, but he's got a YouTube channel, a very popular one. And he appears on Midnight's Edge and stuff like that. But it reminds me of him. It really does remind me of him. But here he's doing his funny stuff, and she gives him a big kiss, look, and he doesn't like that. He says, I'm a married man, and he gets the hump and he goes home. And he says, just because Rosie's gone doesn't mean, I haven't forgotten about her and all that stuff. So, anyway. And the evening ends on a bit of a downer. But, anyway. The next day, Alma's out jogging, and we hear a kid crying, and she goes to investigate. It's some sort of play group or whatever. And this little girl's fallen off do they call them jungle gyms? The climbing frame. And she uses her powers. Look, she does a glowy hand thing. There we go. And she takes the pain away from the little girl. So anyway, while she says, can you look after the kids while I take her to the first aid station? I thought, very caring, not very sensible of this woman, this professional child carer, just stranger, look after these kids. But anyway, she does. And she does a good job. And she gets offered a job. Anyway, here comes Bernie. He's come to meet the others at the motel. It's where Ruby's there. And she apologises for last night. He said, apology accepted. He says, why can't we make it? I'll make it up to you. We'll go for cocktails. He says, that's not necessary. He says, and she says, you're afraid of me. And he says, I certainly am not. He says, right, I'll pick you up at 7. So he's got a date with Ruby. Whether he likes it or not. Meanwhile, Alma's telling all the kids about the spaceship, and they went to Antaria and all that. But she's saying it in the way of a story, telling what it's like. That the sky is gold and there's 3 pink moons. What are you up to? There's 3 pink moons and there's a silver city, and they find that they can fly and all that. And they go to a silver city shimmering in the distance, and it's amazing. But there's no ice cream. They're saying, what is there? But there's no ice cream. But you never die, you never get sick. So if you love somebody, you'll never lose them. And this little girl here says, what if you love ice cream? He says, well, you're in trouble. Anyway. So this is where we see that she's getting on with the kids and she gets offered a job. Meanwhile, the lads are having hot dogs, chili dogs. And but it gets interrupted by some basketball players. Their ball, there we go, hits their burgers and all that stuff. So they challenge them to a match. Says, bet we can get 11 baskets before you hot shots. So right. So they put the money down and off they go. So we have a little scene where they're playing basketball. Obviously, Bernie's essentially just standing about, not really doing out. And they end up being like 7-2, 8-2 down or something like that. So they said, right, we've got to show them what we've learned. So then it's when they start floating about. There we go. They start doing things. Oh, then it's showing what they can do. And they end up at 10-10. And Bernie ends up with the ball. we see Joe suddenly clutches his side and goes down on one knee. So Joe's getting ill again. Remember, he had cancer in the first film. We learned it was leukemia. That went into remission after he went swimming in the magical pool. But anyway, it's come back. Now they've come back to Earth. Didn't take long, did it? Anyway. Right, so there we go, they're doing all that. And they end up the 10-10, it's 10-10 each apiece. And the ball ends up in Bernie's hands. There we go, they throw it. Bernie, shoot! And he throws the ball, and in it goes. Like that. Way. And the win, 11-10, and he says, in your face, kid. So they're all celebrating. Yay, Bernie's won for him. Yay, good old Bernie. So he can have a good time when he wants to be. But anyway. Meanwhile, the girls are out shopping, and Gwen, not Gwen, yeah, it is Gwen Verdon, Bess, says, oh, that's a lovely dress. But, where would we wear something like that? And says, they're going to pamper themselves. They're going to try on clothes and have a makeover and all that stuff. So this is a part of the film for the girls, isn't it? Spin through this, us lads. But anyway, they're having a nice time, being pampered. But then Bess, she faints. She says, oh, that's lovely. And then, she passes out, ends up on the floor, and ends up in hospital. What they've been keeping up there. I forgot what they call it. Blue Cross, whatever they call it. But anyway, so there's Art. Arthur, by the way, his name is Arthur Selwyn. Art for short. So they're obviously concerned about what's happened. But then the doctor comes out. And Art says, if anything would happen to her, says he wishes they would never come back. As soon as we come back, this happens. And he says, she's the only woman that's ever loved him. This nearly set me off as well. The only woman that's ever loved him, and he'd give his life for her in a heartbeat and all that stuff. Which comes back later for Joe. Anyway. There you go. He's thinking about it. He knows his cancer's back. Meanwhile, on Captain Picard's head... they're cutting it open at the Oceanographic Institute. There's Courtney Cox. As I said, when she was naturally pretty. And she's always been pretty, I know, but she did what all Hollywood women do. She got really thin and hatchet faced, didn't she? But anyway. She looks familiar. Is that no, it can't be, can it? Isn't it? Could it be? I don't know. It looks like Samantha Carter from Stargate, doesn't it? Is it? Let's see. Let's have a look. See is she going to do anything? I don't know if it is or not. No, it's not. Is it? I forgot her bloody name now. You know what? I'm going to look. Cast. It's not, is it? It can't be. Samantha Carter. Who played Samantha Carter? I'm blanking. Let's have a look down here. I don't think it will be. No, I think it's Shelley Spurlock. But there's no picture. If it's Rebecca, it says SPOI, so that's the St. Petersburg Oceanographic Institute. So I'm guessing it's Rebecca. So I think she's the only woman we see. She does look like her, though, doesn't she? Well, I think she does. Anyway, whatever. Right, where were we? So they open it up. There we go. So where they see the alien that they call Phil. There we go. Who plays Phil? I wonder. Who plays these aliens? Does it say? Let's have a look. Oh, pardon me. I don't think it says, does it? Kids. Come on, aliens. Where are you? Pillsbury, Tyrone Power. Phil, there we go. Phil, Antarian. Wendy Cook, there we go. So Wendy Cook plays Phil. It's supposed to be a he. Obviously, it's a woman playing him. Because they do refer to him as he. But anyway, there we go. She's saying, don't be afraid. But the military's going to come in. They can sense that the cocoon's been opened. And they don't have long. There we go. If he doesn't get an infusion of life force soon, he'll die. So they've got to do a rescue. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, we learn that Bess is 6 weeks pregnant. So this is one for the books. So he's all happy and all that stuff. Meanwhile, David is at his baseball game where he's rubbish, and gets struck out or whatever the term is. I don't know. So he's fed up. But he says, I can do it. He said you were hitting the ball well earlier on. He says, well, we're doing it with you, and I could do things with you because he's relaxed. And he says, well, the thing is, it's like you're thinking about what other people think of you instead of what you think of yourself and all that. So basically, not to be bothered what other people think of you, which is easier said than done, I suppose, isn't it? But there you go. Maybe what you should do is maybe what you should be doing is listening to yourself. Because it's Wilfred Brimley, isn't it? I'm going to tell him all about the diabetes in a minute. Anyway, so there he goes. He's giving him his sage advice. Meanwhile, Joe has learned his leukemia's back, but he doesn't know how long he's got. The doctor wants to put him on chemotherapy immediately. He says, how long have I got? He says, well, I don't know. It could be 6 weeks. It could be 6 years. We don't know. It's one of those things. It could go into remission or it just could come back. They don't know. But obviously, the doctor doesn't know when he goes back to Ontario, it'll cure. It'll be fine. Anyway, she doesn't look like her now, does she? What do they bloody call her now? I'm blanking. Amanda Tapping. That's what I'm thinking of. Looks nothing like her. What am I talking about? Anyway, so there you go. She's looking at Phil, and that's where we learn that Phil can. They can affect electronic things, and he starts making the beeping thing on a digital watch. Digital watch? What on earth is a digital watch? If you know that, it makes it start beeping. Some nice tunes, and she realises it's Phil that's doing it, and she's in Starfleet as well. That must be the logo for the ocean. I don't know. No, that's it, isn't it? I have no idea what that's the logo for. By the way, if you notice, they're covering up this side of her neck when she's got her hair down. For a reason. But anyway, so this is where we see that the nice aliens, like E.T., Starman. That's a Ghostbusters 2 reference. Right, so they're out shopping for baby stuff. We see that Bess is eating horrible things because she's got... because she's pregnant, and pregnant women just eat horrible things, don't they? And then they're at a pregnancy class and doing all that. And all the young uns are looking at them. Right, Joe comes back with shopping, and he's going to tell Alma that his cancer's back. But she says, the most amazing thing that happened today, I got offered a job looking after the kids at the playgroup or whatever. And says, isn't that amazing? Says, well, we can't because we're leaving in 2 days. Says, well, I wasn't going to take the job. But it was just nice to be offered a job. Sorry, my other cat, Princess, is starting now. Bloody animals, what they're like. Yes, I'm talking about you. But anyway, so then she says, well, what were your news? And he says, well, nothing. Never mind. This is where we learn that the aliens are psychic. And they do this thing like in Ghostbusters. Another Ghostbusters reference. Where it knows what card she's holding up. So there we go. So that's all very nice. Nice friendly aliens. But the military's there. I don't know what they're thinking to do with them. I don't know. Use them for remote viewing or something. I don't know. But anyway. So we can see that she's concerned that the military's involved. Then she's having a chat with this fella. Voicing her concerns. Meanwhile, Kitty is looking after them. Jack has got a present for her. There we go. Some horrible thing made out of shells. And all she says is, I love it, Jack. It's as though it's what she should say. There we go. I really love it. She says it again at the end of the film. You think, it's just like this response that she thinks she's supposed to say. She obviously doesn't. But anyway. Or maybe she really does. I don't know. And in the first film, they shared themselves. The Antarians, when they're making love or whatever, showing affection, they share themselves. They make this energy come out of them, and if it hits humans, it makes them go, "Ooh, that's kind of funky." So Jack says that's all he's been thinking of for 5 years when they shared themselves. So she says, "So shall we do it again now?" And he says, "No, let's go to dinner and all that. There we go, candlelight." So they're going to go to dinner and have fun and games there. There you go. Bernie's obviously, he didn't want to go on a date with Ruby, but he's there waiting. He could have fobbed her off. But here she comes, she's picked him up, and off they go. Oh, I like this bit when they got in the car. Very good comedic bit. She drives off really fast, and I like the way he grabs his hat. It's just coming off his hat, and he grabs it just in time. Very Laurel and Hardy. Anyway, so there we go. Anyway, they're in a loud club, and saying, I can't hear myself think, basically. She says, this is amazing. So they get a drink, rum punch, and he drinks it really quick. So he starts letting his hair down a bit, and so they're having fun. Jack and Kitty are in a posh restaurant, and he says, "I've no idea what we've ordered, so it must be a good restaurant." She starts eating whatever it is. He don't know what it is. Says, "This is bon appetit. It's French food." He says, "Oh, this bon appetit is really lovely." But then she starts getting a bit weird, and she says, "Jack, I want to share myself with you." She starts throwing food about, so she's having some sort of reaction to the food. Anyway, there you go. She starts getting a bit giddy, and he says, "Jack, I want to share myself with you right now." But first, food gets thrown about in a hilarious comedy manner. But then she starts doing this in front of loads of people, and she starts sending her energy about the room. There we go. So it's all fun and games. Look, it hits that fella. Hang on, where are we? I missed it. Where is it? Why's he showing it? It hits that other fella anyway. And so he goes, "Ah." So it's all flying about, causing trouble. And so they get out, and he says, "Keep the change." He leaves loads of money. So they don't just run away without paying for the food. He pays for it. Meanwhile, in the nightclub, they're having fun and dancing and stuff. There we are. And he says, "You're really pretty." And the kiss. But then as they're kissing, he looks over the shoulder and he sees Rose. Obviously in his mind. She walks away. It's as though it's in his mind. Rose is disapproving that he's seen this other woman. And so she gets cross. She says, "It's rubbish. Rose is dead. You've got to go and live in. Life goes on and all that." But anyway. So, their relationship's not on the rocks, but it's more complicated. But she obviously has feelings for Bernie. But are they going to carry on? I don't know. But anyway, it's not the last we see of Ruby, by the way. Meanwhile, Mary and Ben are in bed, and she's crying. She doesn't want to go back. She wants to stay on Earth, so she can see David growing up and all that. She says, parents shouldn't outlive their kids. So anyway, but Ben admits. He says, "I'm scared of dying," and she says, "Well, don't you think I know that?" But anyway, she wants to stay. Right, so they've got to work out what they're going to do. She's looking at plans for the Oceanographic Institute. She kind of apologises for what happened last night. And he says, "I think we got away with it. The police never came." But he says, "It was fine." All right. Then he says, I'm just going to end up being one of those guys who never, finds love and just ends up talking to his dog, like me talking to my cats. She says, "I want to give you something." So we also learn now that the Antarians can show you your future. So she does this. There we go. And he has a vision of him walking through a hazy scene, and he sees a woman with kids in a palatial house with maids and stuff like that. She's also expecting, and he sees her, and does it show it here or is it later? Oh no, it must be in a bit. Then he sees himself come out with a bloody pipe. Looks like a bloody Popeye, doesn't he? He's got a pipe in his mouth, but don't know. But he comes out. So we see he's obviously in a relationship. He's got a wife and kids, and then he looks at the woman. We don't see her face. The woman that he's obviously married to. For Pete's sake. But there we go. He sees she's got a love heart birthmark or whatever on her neck. So I wonder who that could be. Meanwhile, Phil, you can see his glow is leaving him. He's obviously getting ill. And the fella behind says, I think what they were doing with him before, with the psychic stuff, taking it out of him. But anyway, so the military's moving in. They're going to take him away. Here they're planning on the heist, and Ben and Joe are worrying. It could be dangerous. We're old farts. But Art says these people have given us everything. If they need our help, I'm damn well going to give it. So I say, okay, fair enough. We're in. So there we go. So they've got to plan a thing. And we also learned that they've got to do it by midnight. That's when the ship is coming, and that's when wrap up any unfinished business. But then Bernie's there, and he hears this. Obviously, he didn't realise they were going back so soon, so he gets cross now and stomps off and says, "You can all go to hell," because that's how he is, isn't he? But Joe confronts him. Says we didn't have the heart to tell you we're only here for a few days, and he gets a bit, a bit selfish and stuff like that, saying you've yanked the rug right out from under me. And when he said, "Just come back with us," that's what I'd say, but he doesn't. But then Joe says, you're a selfish old bugger, and other people in pain and all that. Just think about others for a change, etc., etc. They're going, you don't deserve to have friends like us. So, Bernie realises that Joe's cancer's back then. Anyway, Alma is now at the playgroup. I'm guessing it's later in that day. The playgroup playing ball with the kids and not doing a good job because there's a pet cemetery thing coming on. Not bringing back from the dead, but kids getting splattered. Although that doesn't happen. One of the kids throws a ball. There we go. It goes into the road, and a car's coming. Princess, behave. A car's coming, here it comes, and she runs out and pushes the kid out the way, and the car hits Alma. Oh no! Or hits a stunt woman. So she ends up in hospital. Bernie's arrived. There's Joe. And it's not looking good. And we learn that she's in a coma. Bernie says to him, how, your cancer's back and all that. When what you said to me, I realised. But anyway. Right, tells her she's not going to make it through the night. He doesn't think, as the doctor says he's sorry. Behave yourself, princess. So he says, can I see you? And this is where I was sobbing. I was proper, ugly crying earlier on. So I'll try to hold it together for this bit. So this is where he says, you can't live without her and all that stuff. And he gives her a gift. So we can see that her vitals are not doing well. And he does his alien magic. There we go. And essentially gives her all of his life force. There we go, like that. And he passes away. She comes to. I'm going. She comes to. And there you go. What have you done? So I gave you a present. He says, "Oh, Joe, I'm going." Give me a minute. And he says, "Oh, I'm just so tired. It's so damn tired." He says, "Oh, rest." And he dies. An hour roaring. Nearly am now. Later on, so I presume it's evening now. They're saying, well, that's the end of an era. Won't be the same without Joe. And they say, he really loved the beach. And Ben says, he didn't care about the beach. He cared about those, girls on it. That's what he liked. Anyway, so they're looking after Alma. So she's got to sleep, but she's not asleep. She's hugging the pillar, and I'm going again. Meanwhile, Art He's looking at his old books and stuff. He's packing some stuff up, I think, to take with him. And he sees in one of his books, to Arthur, a man who has a son has the world's richest treasure, your loving father. And he's having second thoughts about going back, taking their child away from everything on earth that normal kids would grow up with and all that. So he goes and tells Bess about this, about his thoughts, and she says, she's thought about it obviously, but if they don't go, they might never be born. Because obviously she's getting on, and the longer they stay on Earth, the chances are that something will go wrong with their age and all that. But so they've got to go, really. I suppose they could bring him back at some point, couldn't they? But they don't mention that. But anyway, sorry, a little tear again. Anyway, so obviously they are going to go back. They're saying goodbye to David. David gives him a baseball. And they have a little moment, and I nearly started then again. Right, so they're getting ready to go. And Alma's staying behind. She's taking the job with the kids. Now she's all back to health again. And so she's staying behind. And Bernie's going to look after her. Right, so they're going to go and they're going to go and rescue Phil. They're all getting ready on the boat. Here we go. So they're going to sneak in. Actually, they follow a truck. Here we go. They follow this truck that's coming out there. And they must have been observing the place for a while. But they follow this military truck. There's Phil not looking well. She's, oh, Phil, you're not looking well. And he sets a watch off again, making beeping noises. But it sounds weak, because the alien's getting weaker. Anyway, they follow this truck that goes to the new Hickory Barbecue. They watch the fellas go in. They hide inside the truck. Hope they're not going to be there for very long. Oh, pardon me. Because time is of the essence, isn't it? But anyway. Anywho, so they're waiting in the truck to be taken to infiltrate the base. Little do they know that David had secreted himself in the trunk of Ben's car, and so he's gonna. So he's driven now. He drives the car back. So he's obviously learned to drive as David. He drives the car back to the Oceanographic Institute. But anyway, they sneak out, and obviously the security is not very good because they're just these two old fellas and Rackle Welch's daughter just wandering about, look, in the open. Obviously no security cameras. But anyway. Then Ben's car comes rolling to a halt outside, and they're going to investigate. They open the gate, and as they're checking it out, we see, there we go, David sneaks in. Right, so there we go. They've got disguises. They're dressed as doctors, and Art's dressed as a security guard. So they're going to sneak in. She's going to turn into an alien, take her skin off. There you go. Off she goes. Hang on. There she goes, floating down the corridor. Because she's going to pretend to be Phil in a bit. Art's going to turn off the power, and it gets totally black. This doesn't make any sense. But there's Art checking his stopwatch. Turns off the power. Here he goes, look, ready. There he goes. Turns it off. Totally black. Because obviously, it's blacker than black. How much more black could it be? None more black. There's no emergency lighting, or there's no light from outside filtering in. It's just pitch black. Can't see anything. Obviously it's the 80s, so they don't have phones, so they can't get a torch on the phone or whatever. Nobody's got a lighter. It's totally black. Anyway, the lights come back on, and they see that Phil's gone. Oh, in a minute. There you go. They see that Phil's gone. Oh no! So they've got to do a search. There's Art, dressed as a security guard, and he says, "Oh yes, they went this way." Obviously, luring them away. Here's Ben with Phil. He's got to get him out. There's Kitty, pretending to be Phil, luring them away in the wrong direction. They think it's Phil, you see, because they don't know there's other aliens about, do they? There you go. Art's got back into his regular clothes. Kitty's floated in with him. Look, she's going to put her skin back on. So out they come. Ben there with Phil. Dolphins watching on. That animal's amazing. Right, so they get to the it's the loading dock, isn't it? And the thing's shutting, the thing's closing. That thing there, the gate, whatever you want to call it. 'Cause I don't know a name. The name of a character, I can't remember it. Courtney Cox. What's the name of her character? Courtney Cox. Where are you? Sarah. Sarah's turning off, closing the security gate or whatever you want to call it. She's doing that, and David arrives. Says, "Grandpa can help you." Anyway, they stop it. They hold it up because they've got super strength as well. I don't know how powerful them motors are, but they burn out the motor, and they get Phil out. And they're going running across the grass, and then she notices them. She says, "Hey, you, stop! Wait, what are you doing?" And then he says, "This is my friend," with all his hairs up his nose and stuff. "See, here's my friend, and we're taking him home, because I'm Wilfred Brimley. Thank you, good night." So she says, "Okay, fair enough." Fair enough. Because it's Wilfred Brimley, isn't it? So you believe him. You believe anything Wilfred Brimley says to you. If he says it's Tuesday on a Thursday, it's Tuesday. Anyway, right, so they get Phil to the boat. Oh, this army fella says, "Have you seen anything?" She goes, "No, I've not seen anything." So she now feels happy now because she's helped Phil escape. So they're heading out now. They're going to head out to sea. And where we learn that Ben decides they're going to stay behind with David. So there we go. Then the spaceship arrives. Here it comes. There the spaceship comes. And instead of them taking the entire boat like they did in the first film, Walter, remember Walter, Brian Dennehy, he's just going to beam down. They've now got beaming technology. Here he comes. He beams down. Like that. There he is. He appears. Say, "Oh, Walter, hey up," and he says, "Hello, Jack. It's good to see you." There's obviously something wrong with his rubber human suit, because he's got like a cut on his forehead there. You notice it on the when we get a close up. So I wonder what happened there. They're obviously thinking we don't, they thought they covered it up with makeup or something, wouldn't you? But anyway, so he's there, and he says sorry about Joe and all that. He says everybody's here. I said, "Well, not everybody." He says, "Yeah, I'm sorry about Joe." But obviously Alma's not there as well. He don't give a monkeys, does he? There he goes. You see that cut there? Look. Or is it a spot or something? He's been popping spots on his forehead. They tell him they decided they're staying behind, and he says, "Oh well, I'll be sorry to see you go." And so they're all saying their goodbyes, and Walter says, "I thought you only cried when somebody dies." And he says, "No, we also cry when we say goodbye to friends." So they're saying goodbye and all that stuff. And now we're all filling up again because I'm a big soft pob. Why? He gives Kitty another present, his high school graduation photo. There it is. I wonder if that is actually Steve Guttenberg's high school graduation photo. I don't know. Probably not. And then she says again, hang on, here we go. Hang on, where is it? There you go. "I really love it, Jack." It just says the same thing every time he gives her something. Anyway, so off they go. They're just going to beam them up. They're not taking the whole boat. Why did they beam up before? Maybe were there too many people to beam up last time? I don't know. Because there were 30 odd people on the boat last time, weren't there? Maybe that were too many. Or maybe it's new technology they've acquired in 5 years. I don't know. But anyway, they beam them all up. Here they go. Look, whew, beam, turn into glowing balls. Hey, and off they go up into the UFO or whatever spaceship. I'm going to show it for Christ's sake. There they go. Look, whee. So they're all like, "Wow!" And then the spaceship flies away. Off it goes into the cosmos. Bernie's going over and taking flowers to Ruby. So obviously they're going to have a relationship now. Yeah, bless him. So he's going to be happy. Bernie's going to have a happy ending. Jack says goodbye to Ben and Mary and David. We'll probably never see him again. So they're heading home. To Linda Harrison, Nova. Anyway, so he's switching off the lights and everything. Looking a bit sad and pensive. You know, the adventure's over again. Will he ever see the aliens again? I wish there'd have been a Cocoon 3. I'd have probably cried at that as well. But anyway. But then, there we go. Courtney Cox appears. Sarah appears and says, excuse me, I've run out of gas. And he's the only person about. And is there a gas station nearby? He says, yes, I can give you a lift if you want. And she learns she tells she's just quit from her job because, you know, she said she's driving home from work. She says, you know, where are you working so late? She says, well, I wouldn't want your job working so late. She says, neither would I just quit. So, there you go. So, and they're talking. He's looking at her saying, you look familiar. I'm sure I've seen you somewhere before. Hang on. And said, no, but, you know, whatever. But he introduces himself, but then she says, it's chilly. And he says, oh, where's my manners? And he puts his coat on her. Here we go. His jacket. And then as he's doing that, he sees, oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. He sees that she's got the heart-shaped birthmark, whatever. I don't know. It might have been a tattoo. I don't know, whatever. The heart-shaped thing on the neck. So this is the woman from his vision that Kitty gave him. That he's going to have millions of kids with her, live in a big house, and he's going to get rich, probably from his boat. I don't know. But he says to her, have you ever been in a glass-bottom a glass-bottom boat? He says, no, I've always wanted to. He says, well, I've got one. He says, oh, she says, oh, have you? He says, well, it's the Banks, but I'm the captain. She goes, oh, a captain. And then the film ends, there we go, as they go off to their destinies together. And that's the end of the film. A lovely, lovely film that had me sobbing, proper sobbing. But, well, and over the credits we get views from the original film and this one as well, and all that stuff. But there we go. What can I say? Watch the Cocoon films. If you want a good cry, if you're a big softy like me, and you want a good cry, watch these films, because they'll set you off. They will. If you're human with emotions, they'll set you off. But they're really worth a look. You can get them on. Hang on. I don't know if they're on. They've got to be on Blu-ray. I think they're on Blu-ray. I've got the. Hang on, let me get rid of that. I've got the DVD thing. I think they are on Blu-ray, but Blu-rays are really expensive now, particularly in the UK. They're really expensive. So you can get them for next to no. But it's not on streaming. Cocoon is not on streaming anywhere. This one is Cocoon the Return. In the UK, at least, it's on Amazon. It's not on Disney Plus. It's a 20th Century Fox film. Do you think it'd be on Disney Plus, wouldn't it? Or Hulu in America. So it might be, I don't know. But not in the UK, it's not. But anyway, they're both well worth a look, and I think Cocoon the Return is, just as good as the first one. It's, equal par for me with the first one. Really worth a look. So there we go. So we'll leave it there, and I'm probably going to go and have a little weep again, because I'm a silly old bugger. But anyway, right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that little look at Cocoon the Return. Really trivia about it. I forgot to do notes, apart from, where the Oceanographic Institute is, 250 miles from St. Petersburg. What is it? What else have we got? Nothing, there isn't anything really. It was Jack Gilford's final film. Ron Howard didn't want to return, feeling concerned that the whole point of the first film would immediately be squandered. No, it's a lovely sequel. I think it's really good. What else? Is there anything else? No, not really. Not really. That's nice. Brian Dennehy is seen at the end of the film reprising his role as Walter, the alien leader. Dennehy agreed to reprise his role from the first film as a favour to his castmates and accepted no payment for doing so. What a nice man. There we go. And he had an injury on his forehead, albeit little. But anyway, so there we go. We'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll say this. Hopefully I won't cry in the next one. I'll say this.